It all started in the deserts of Arizona, under a scorching sun, and silence interrupted only by the soft hum of a drone hovering in place without a battery. That was the moment Dr. Ellie Vance, a systems engineer working for the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, better known as DARPA, realized this could change everything. The military had long dreamed of powering drones, sensors, and even forward bases without the need for fuel or batteries. And now, for the first time, it looked like wireless electricity, real, long-range wireless power, was within reach. But the journey there, it was filled with classified mishaps, physics-defying prototypes, a Cold War origin story, and one near-catastrophic test in the skies over Nevada. To understand how DARPA got here, you have to go back to the 1960s and a man named William C. Brown. Brown was an engineer who developed the Rectenna, a device that could convert microwave energy into usable electricity. In 1964, he flew a small helicopter powered entirely by a microwave beam. NASA took notice. So did DARPA. Fast forward to 2009, DARPA quietly launched a program named SPLICE, Strategic Power Logistics in Converged Environments. Its mission was to explore the feasibility of transmitting electricity without wires over battlefield distances. One engineer described it like this: imagine beaming power like Wi-Fi, except instead of data, you're sending pure energy. But the challenges were immense precision targeting, safety, energy loss over distance, and most of all, weaponization concerns. Microwave energy could heat up water molecules. That included people. DARPA's answer was a secret lab code named Tether somewhere in the Southwest. Inside Tether, the work was divided into compartments. Ellie Vance led Project HAWC, High-Altitude Wireless Conduction, a DARPA experiment to beam energy to small UAVs, unmanned aerial vehicles, from ground-based transmitters. Their first tests involved powering light bulbs on towers 100 meters away. But scaling that to flying systems was something else entirely. One night in 2014, the team set up a demonstration, a quadcopter drone fitted with a Rectenna. A microwave array on the ground would beam energy up. If it worked, the drone could hover indefinitely without an onboard battery. The test began. For the first 45 seconds, nothing happened. Then hum. Lift. The drone rose, glowing faintly blue, the microwave energy being harvested mid-air. It hovered for 6 full minutes before the signal was cut. Success. The next day, the Pentagon sent observers. With each breakthrough, the stakes grew. In a 2016 test in Nevada, DARPA attempted to scale the system beam power to a surveillance drone 2 kilometers away. They used a phased array microwave system capable of adaptive targeting, a kind of energy spotlight that could track moving objects. During the test, the drone began to smoke. Not from overheating, but because the targeting system had drifted off course slightly, enough to fry the onboard receiver. That's when DARPA brought in quantum radar engineers, the same teams working on stealth object detection, to help correct the beam drift. But the press never heard about the real issue during that same test. 2 birds that flew through the microwave beam dropped from the sky. DARPA now had proof wireless energy could be delivered across distance, but it could also kill. It raised a terrifying possibility. What if this technology fell into the wrong hands? Could energy be weaponized without explosives? That question led to the next phase: encryption for power. Encryption for energy sounds like science fiction. But DARPA's Secure Beam protocol was developed for just that. It used real-time frequency hopping like military radio to make sure only authorized devices could receive the beam. This made possible one of DARPA's most controversial tests, Project HAWC. The plan was to drop a small robot into a forested test site in Virginia, no battery, no solar. Then beam energy to it from orbit. Yes, from orbit. The transmitter was a prototype solar satellite array, piggybacking on a classified Space Force launch. It would collect solar energy in space, convert it to microwave, and send it down through a narrow, encrypted beam to the forest floor below. Incredibly, it worked. The robot powered on, walked, sent back telemetry. What DARPA didn't expect was what happened next. A storm knocked out GPS. The beam began to drift. For a full 12 seconds, the microwave beam pointed at a wildlife camera nearby. The result? The SD card melted. The beam was shut off immediately. The damage was contained. But the conclusion was clear: we've created wireless energy, Ellie Vance later told the Senate Oversight Committee, but it's not benign. It's invisible fire. So where are we now? DARPA's wireless power tech remains partially classified, but elements have leaked into the public sector. In 2021, the Naval Research Lab demonstrated wireless power transmission over a kilometre. In 2023, Caltech launched a space solar prototype. And several startups are quietly hiring former DARPA engineers. Ellie Vance now teaches at MIT. She claims DARPA's work is still decades ahead. One final anecdote. In 2022, a wildfire in New Mexico destroyed an old Air Force listening post. Among the debris, firefighters found a strange metallic ring with charred antennae. DARPA denied involvement, but insiders whispered that it was a backup receiver from Project HAWC. The future may be wireless, but behind it is a web of classified projects, experiments gone wrong, and breakthroughs that never made the headlines. Because while we see electricity as a utility, DARPA sees it as a weapon and a way to change warfare forever. The real question isn't whether DARPA created wireless power, it's whether they'll ever let us have it. DARPA made the drone fly. They made the energy invisible. They made power flow like data. But they also taught us something else. When you take the leash off electricity, you better make sure you can call it back. If you found this helpful, hit that like button, subscribe for more amazing content.